Welcome to Sykes, the Bottom Line Pharmacy Podcast, your regular dose of pharmacy CPA advice to fuel your bottom line, featuring pharmacists, key vendors, and other innovators.
Your checks, yes, you can call me, cause we the best, Sykes and Company. We the best, Sykes and Company. Your accounting is a mess, there's no need for you to stress. Go online and request from the best. We the best, Sykes and Company. We the best, Sykes and Company. Yes.
AtriumX.
Yes, AtriumX.
It's a nice name. I like the name. It's a good, catchy,
thanks.
fire brand name there.
Yeah, it's the experience. It's the intangible. It's what's next. But we knew that we needed to put on a conference for a long time. It just wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
With COVID and then with the DIR apocalypse last year. But we always knew, and for the past decade, really, back when I worked for PDS, that was my job, was to all year identify the pain points that our members were struggling with, visit pharmacies. I visited over 100 independent pharmacies within like a 5-year time frame, and just see how they're solving the problems, how they're solving them, how they're failing, what they're trying. And my job at PDS was always to find a problem, a solution, pilot it out, have some really smart people, much smarter than me, do it, and then format it into something that we could launch at the conference in February at PDS. That was always my job. And to really vet it out too, because you can't be reckless and just put something out there that could hurt businesses or, even worse, patients. So that was always the job. So I was like, man, we still need that. We still need to do that. So I haven't announced this yet. I've just been kind of saying AtriumX and let's all get together and let's talk about what our challenges are and let's network. But I've vetted out a telemedicine solution.
Nice.
And we're going to launch it at AtriumX. I've actually taken 8 months to pilot it, to run it through legal. We've actually changed a lot of the structure because if you do telemedicine wrong, you could go to prison. Like, it's that extreme. Now that's if you're being very reckless.
Is that with the Stark and anti-kickback?
Yeah, that's if you're doing something wrong. If you're accepting things that you just know are not a valid prescription and there's no valid patient-prescriber relationship. So obviously none of us are going to do that. But yeah, it even comes back to just how do you accept the prescription? Every state is different in their telemedicine laws, whether it has to be a synchronous visit, meaning like a video real time, or asynchronous visit, meaning like a form or lab work that the patient fills out. But we have a telemedicine solution that we vetted. We got legal approval. After we went through it and made some changes, we piloted it in my own small fulfillment pharmacy, and we're going to launch it at AtriumX.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool. So do you have to be a member of Dotti to go to AtriumX, or is this open for anybody?
Nope, it's open for anybody. It is, being the first year, it is limited. It's kind of a smaller venue, which I like. We're not going to be at like a huge warehouse of a conference center. It's at the Margaritaville Resort in Orlando.
Fun.
I know Scotty loves them margaritas. We did it just for you. But it's a cool venue. I went and visited a lot. We were going to do it here in Clearwater where we're located, but all the hotels got flooded and damaged in the hurricanes. So we moved it over to Orlando. Easy airport for everybody to get to. And yeah, it is what it is. It'll be nicer weather than up north, and it's easy. But we got a really cool venue at the Margaritaville. It's smaller, so we won't be overrun by other conferences. It's just our conference that's there. You'll kind of see everybody in the hallways and at the restaurants and everything. And there's like cool shops and music and things on site that you can go to on the Sunset Walk. They have shuttles to Disney Springs and all the Disney stuff from the hotel. So it'll be fun.
Very fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. And
I have the heat attack season too, and I will be there.
Yes.
I know. I got booted because somebody's got to stay back and do returns.
What?
Yeah.
Man, somebody's
We all
got to.
can't go. Can't all go. I'll
No,
take one for the team and stay back and get the work done. It's no big deal.
Thank you.
Somebody's got to do it.
Just kidding. We got a good
Somebody's
staff here.
gotta
We're going to be in
travel,
good shape.
you know.
Yeah, we've got a couple different. Usually we have a workshop that I have to go to in March with the NCPA. So we've got a few things this year that popped up during tax season. So we'll be busy.
It's a busy conference season kicking off. We got the
already.
AtriumX.
Yeah.
We're doing Vital Care. This Sykes company, we're doing Vital Care
next week.
Next week at
that's cool. Something
Orlando.
different.
There it is.
Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Justin, Florida is going to be the APC Alliance for Pharmacy Compounding.
Yep, in March.
Did I say that right?
I think so. Nicolette,
March.
I saw that you went on the Africa trip.
Yes.
I'm so jealous. I've been saying for years I want to go.
Yeah.
So,
It was
how was it? Was it awesome?
It was amazing. My son, I have 3 kids. They're 13, 12, and 11. So a lot of middle school going on, bro.
Bruh.
That sounds like my 5-year-old.
My middle schoolers have entered the chat, and I'm cooked. But there's a lot of slang going on. And my son, who's 11, he's very much, we call him Google, because he just knows all the facts, and especially animals. He loves animals, and he always has. And with my husband being a fishing captain, my son's name is Fisher. And we always go out to the islands and the little barrier islands in Clearwater Beach and everything. And he just goes off by himself and finds all the shells or all the creatures or all the things. And he's just, so to take him on safari.
Yes.
And just to watch him, it was the most magical thing that I'll probably ever experience in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about right there.
Yep. Just to be in that much nature was amazing.
Amina has mentioned it to us multiple times. We just have to say
Every
the
year
word.
I get more clients that want to go, and they go. And
see, you know what's funny too is knowing Amina.
Yeah.
We all know Amina and how she is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how she's just such a light, and she's so positive, but she's also reflective at the same time.
Right.
She listens, and she's just so humble. And now that I've been able to visit Kenya, I was able to see where she came from and the culture.
Right.
And that's just how it is.
That's cool.
It's amazing. There's so much traffic. Nobody's honking. There's no horns. There's no lanes. There's traffic everywhere, but nobody's honking. And then even somebody bumped into somebody else and they're like, my friend, what were you doing? You weren't paying attention.
There's no road rage.
No, in America,
Kenya.
it's a very different interaction here. But
Just
it was
buckle
awesome.
up around here, man. America's like,
Whew.
get out of my way.
Yeah.
People got things to do, places to be, whatever. I don't know.
I may have to sidebar ask you some questions about it. I really wanted to.
They don't have PBMs in Kenya, though. So what about that? Maybe that's why they're not so angry.
I know someone else. I don't think they were in the same group as you that went this summer, but they were talking. I'm going to get this messed up, but she was telling me about how someone needed a Z-Pack, and like within an hour, Amina was able to like hook it up, like through her network and whatever. Like somebody rolled in with a Z-Pack. I was like,
in the middle of the wilderness,
in like the middle of wherever they were. She said it was awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
Cool deal. How long was that flight?
Well, we went with it was us 5, so me and my husband and our 3 kids, and then we went with my parents and his parents. So there was the 9 of us. And my mom, she just turned 70.
That is a hell of a trip, by the way.
Yeah.
That group.
Yeah.
Kids.
I know. Oh my gosh. But everybody behaved pretty well. But my mom is a very interesting person. She's a hairdresser. And I think I've talked about her before and her work ethic and how she loves going to work every day. Well, she just turned 70. She still has more energy than I do and still loves going to work every day. She actually just got her hip replaced 30 days before we left on the trip. But don't tell her.
Wow.
She was good to go. And she loves vampires, Sasquatch, aliens, the pyramids, naturally. So Amina was able to coordinate, knowing how my mom is. Amina coordinated a layover in Cairo on the way to Nairobi. And she made the layover like 15, 20 hours and then coordinated somebody to pick us up at the airport, take us through customs, a driver, an Egyptologist to take us to the pyramids
Come
on the layover.
Oh my
dude, I want
gracious.
that.
Yep, we had lunch overlooking the pyramids with this amazing
Oh.
feast. I mean, so my mom, with her new hip, was able to climb the pyramids in Egypt.
Man,
Now, see,
I'm
the
jealous of that.
pyramids sound even more interesting to me than the other.
It was incredible. So
Ah,
we were able
love
to do
cool.
that just on a little layover. Then we were able to bop over to the safari. So the flight was long, but intentionally long because we
Right.
made a little stop off.
Well, I think I could handle a long flight if it was broken up like that.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
long one was from Cairo to JFK. That was like 11 hours or so. But
It's doable. Yeah.
time's going to pass anyway, whether you're on a plane or not. That's fine.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
It's
Most
only
of us
11
make
hours. I
YouTube
mean,
the whole time anyway.
it's the experience of a lifetime for 11
Yeah.
hours.
Yep. So it was
Man,
cool.
that is cool. So that's a lot cooler than, I guess, pharmacy talk right now.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about pharmacy.
Let's just start a Armina travel podcast.
No,
We
man,
should. We should just have everyone talk about their trips.
Experiences.
Yeah.
it was
Awesome.
cool. We are planning some things that I think our audience will be interested in for the conference. Tirzepatide. The shortage
man.
has been
Which I hear
resolved,
has-
allegedly.
It's on. You can't do it anymore, right?
Kind of. So, they say the shortage has been resolved. Then there was a lawsuit between the Outsourcing Facilities Association, which is like the group of the 503Bs, and actually one 503A who I've been in communication with at Pharmaceo, but that group sued the FDA. And they said, no, it's not readily available. Patients are going to suffer. They can't get the medication. So while that suit was going on, there was a stay. So nothing changed. You could still dispense it through 503B and things like that. Well, now they met in December and they said, the stay is over. The shortage is resolved. So there's a ramp off period. So they're saying as of February 18th, 503A pharmacies, all of our pharmacies, can no longer dispense Tirzepatide because the shortage is resolved. That's how it stands today. But it's still a very heated battle.
Right.
They're still battling that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still heated. I mean, Lilly's got a lot of money, the pharma manufacturer that makes the brand name Tirzepatide, but I'm watching it, and it's interesting. We do have at AtriumX, because however this shakes out, we're all going to be affected. You know, if we're watching this, or even if you're not dispensing it, you have patients who are on it. So they're going to come to you, want some guidance. And a lot of our pharmacies are working with 503Bs and dispensing it while this drug is in shortage. So we do have, we're going to have a legal update at AtriumX. We have some solutions. I've been talking with, we've created like Dear Doctor letters to explain what's going on, what the options are, letters to patients, bag stuffers, so that we're ready in case you can't dispense the Tirzepatide anymore. But at AtriumX, we'll have legal update. And we'll also have, I've been talking with sterile compounding pharmacies, and they've started doing different things and exploring. Can you mix it with a vitamin? Can you central fill it? So there's a lot going on in that landscape, and we'll talk about it at AtriumX too.
But the semaglutide, that's still
Semaglutide.
available.
However you
I don't
want
know how to say it. So
Well, I don't think anybody really.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer, I guess.
I
We
just
know what you're
the
talking
commercial
about.
says semaglutide, so I copied the commercial.
It's still on shortage.
So you can still do that.
Yes,
Yeah.
And there's still some money in that too.
there is. And I imagine a lot of patients will switch from Tirzepatide to the semaglutide. We're seeing just a lot more interest in more peptides as well. The Samoralin, and there's, but peptides that's a gray area. So we have some peptide experts who will be there too, trying to plan some fun stuff at the conference that I can't disclose yet, but
Yeah.
it'll be interesting. That's for sure.
Whether you like it or not, this is kind of what we tell our clients is, I mean, you got to look into it. It's definitely the thing right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I know of at least 10 people that I just know in my circle of friends and different things that are on it, one way or another. So,
yeah,
you know, we have these
if you're
conversations.
not doing it, pharmacies, I mean, at least do your due diligence and research, you know,
Right.
whether you should be doing it or not. I mean, you do got to do your due diligence, right, Nicolette? And Nicolette's, your group has that due diligence
Oh yeah.
ability to help in that area.
I mean,
but
you
you
can't
gotta
sit
be
down and
looking at
watch TV or anything without a commercial
You got to look
popping
at
up.
it because your the patients are getting it. If they're not getting it from you, they're getting it elsewhere.
Right.
And why not go to the authority, which is the pharmacist, the pharmacy, to get it instead of going to the med spas and the one-off areas.
Nicolette, did you see on the news? I saw where a lady was busted. I forget what state it was in. She was doing something in her home and selling this stuff. I mean,
that's like that.
I'm like, what is going on? It was like Breaking Bad in there. I mean, it was for the.
It's not.
Anyway, it's crazy.
So that's why I like pharmacy to be inserted in this equation. It's how it's supposed to be. Just like I got real riled up when medical marijuana bypassed the pharmacy channel, because that's what pharmacy is here for, is we have distribution locked down. Like we got it figured out. So don't let the GLPs go outside of the pharmacy dispensing model. Keep it. Educate your patients. Right. You know, like if they're going to med spas, the med spas are not now. Most of the med spas are not educated about the quality standards that pharmacies are educated about, and about supply chains and testing and all those.
It's kind of like when CBD was big. I mean, you could go get it in a gas station, but who knows what was in that, you know?
Yeah, and you weren't injecting that. And two, these GLPs have a lot of side effects.
Yeah.
And so patients are going to have trouble with their bowels. They're going to have trouble with, they're not feeling hungry. So are they, it's a slippery slope, is their blood sugar getting low because they're not eating? Are they getting enough protein? If they're not hungry and then they get hungry, they're going to eat some chips.
To me, it's just a teed up perfect opportunity for pharmacies.
Yes.
To adapt and change and evolve and get into this type of stuff. I mean, after this is done its course, there's going to be another
something else,
and something else, and you got to get on these things because the patients they're finding
what they want. Yeah,
they're
going to get it.
Your store or somewhere else.
That's the thing.
Be the expert.
Yep. So that's a huge opportunity, of course. And there are more drugs. I know we've been following the phase trials of the retatrutide, the triple agonist.
Mm-hmm.
That's potentially coming next. Now, some people are already buying the API peptides from China and just using the research grade chemicals, injecting them, which that's to me, that's out there. That's extreme. But people are doing it, to your point.
Scotty.
What'd you say?
He said it's a little sketchy.
Yeah, no, I don't advocate for that at all.
Well, I don't want to be the test rat, but once it's, it's vetted.
Yeah. Speaking of vetting too, that's an interesting project that we've taken on, is the 503Bs and vetting them, because you can get licensed and get all set up as a 503B, but not have your FDA inspection yet. So there's quite a few of them out there that haven't been inspected by the FDA. Now that's fine. They're operational, they're working, and the FDA's backlogged. So it takes them time to get out and inspect all these facilities, and to do all the work that they have to do. But sometimes that initial inspection comes back and it's not good. So you don't want to be buying from facilities that just aren't checking all the boxes. Yeah. So we do a really deep dive and continually vet the 503Bs. And now there's so many more coming online too. So it's been nice to have like a structure and parameters to vet them. I'm trying really hard by the time AtriumX is here to bring this one 503B into our network, because they can get GLPs into California. They're the only one I found. So all my California peeps, they're not able to dispense compounded GLPs. because none of the 503Bs are licensed in that state. But this one is, and it's very, very, very reputable. It's passed all of our vetting requirements with flying colors. It's a really good stand-up company, great inspections, great stability. Like, I'm very excited. It's a small offshoot of a huge company. So, we're small fish, so it's kind of hard to get some attention, but I'm trying. I'm beating down the door. I'm, trying to get my California pharmacies in there because there's a huge need for patients in California.
It's a big population in California.
Yeah. So I'm trying to tee that up. I have another meeting this week, so that would be something really cool. We're going to start piloting it out with a few of our California pharmacies first, but I'd love to be able to just open up that that highway for California soon.
So the conference, Nicolette, you threw some teasers out there. Tirzepatide, legal issues, that kind of stuff. What else are you going to have there?
Well, long-term care. So I can't say too much because it's not my place, but there are going to be some innovations that are going to be launched at AtriumX in the long-term care space and in the automation space and in the billing space. So we always say GLPs, not your cup of tea. Tiffany puts that in our little newsletter. I think that's cute.
Yeah.
But there's other stuff too. I mean, GLPs, telemedicine, long-term care, and to that point, something that we did really different at AtriumX is we have these breakout sessions, and they are completely peer-led. Nice. So that means we brought back Scotty B. If you guys know the MC, Scotty B, he's a good friend of mine. And we brought him back because I love his energy. And he's able just to kind of read the room and see what's going on and keep everybody going and keep everyone engaged and keep their thought processes going. We actually have a special surprise coming from Scotty B because he's a martial artist too. I don't know if you knew that. He owns a dojo out in Denver.
I did not know that.
Yes. So he's an interesting duck. He has the whole fired up entertainment. He's even back in the day he used to do like the emceeing and all that for the Orlando Magic for the basketball team.
Nice.
Yeah, but he's got the fired up entertainment, and I'm pretty sure he runs a ring of DJs in Orlando. It's like a whole thing. And then he's got the dojo out in Denver, so he's a dojo DJ, and he has some really interesting. He has a keynote that he gives about that dojo mentality and how it applies to business, and I'm really trying to fit that in. Because I've heard portions of it and it's really good, and he's given it for other industries. So I'd like him to give it to ours. So we'll see if we can make that happen. But with these breakout sessions, Scotty will physically poll everyone who's in the room. So if you're a compounder, go over here. If you do long-term care, go over here. If you, and then move them around, physically poll them, give everybody ribbons so that you can see throughout the conference, who are my compounders? Who are my sterile compounders? Who's my people doing long-term care billing? And then you can identify and network and talk with them throughout the conference. Then everyone's going to vote on what do they want to talk about in the breakout sessions that we have. And so that's the very first day. That's Thursday. So then Thursday night, myself and the conference team and the facilitators go through it, and we choose, people want to talk about this topic. It got voted on the most. Which subject matter experts do we have here who can talk to that, and we'll put together that breakout session. So on Friday, we have a number of breakout sessions that will be peer-led and voted on by everyone there. But this is also breaking news for the facilitators of the breakout sessions. We brought in Kelly Babcock from PDS and Leadership Growth Formula, and Terry Norvell as well. And I know people love them and all the talks that they do and the workshops that they do for team and culture and just people. So Terry and Kelly, and then we have Jen Deal coming in as well, who you guys might remember her from PDS, and she has an accounting background. She's going to facilitate as well.
Nice.
Not sure.
The facilitator's role is pretty much to bring the people in and just to ask the questions and keep the conversations going.
Interactive. Yep. I like that.
And then we'll have Scotty doing that too. Scotty B.
Not this Scotty.
Yeah. I know, every time you say Scotty, I'm like, he's doing what?
Well, it's funny because often our marketing guy was on your call or something about the conference. And he called, he's like, you got a minute? I was like, yeah. He's like, did you know you're emceeing this event?
You were like, no.
I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, Scotty's, they said you're emceeing it. I was like, oh, no. That's Scotty B. Not me.
I mean, you could.
I would love to see you do that.
Get him a little hat, get him a turntable.
Yes.
I would try.
He'd play some old country. Like, I mean, 50s, 60s, 70s country.
Give him the margaritas and put them up.
Yeah, it'd be margarita hour every hour.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that'd be
well, this sounds exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm hoping that it'll be different. You know, like I try to put together a lot of Zoom calls throughout the year of like people that want to talk about sterile or people that want to talk about what's going on with Tirzepatide or whatever's going on. And it's going to be just so much more impactful to have it in person.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And people are always asking me, do you know anybody that does this? Or do you know? So we'll be able just to make connections with people there and have actual conference time carved out in these breakout sessions to talk with those people and be like, what are you doing in your business? How would you have done it differently next time? You know, like what was the most impactful thing that you did last year?
That's huge. To build a network and a community like that, to just people that could just sit around, literally around a table and
because really
get ideas from each other.
I love how you're bringing some innovative different things, you know, because conferences now you just go and you hear something, you know, whatever. But like bringing
get your
to the
CPE,
table new ideas and new, you know, forward thinking things has a lot of value.
That's the goal, and we're involved. It's an intimate event. We're only going to have max 150 attendees at this first show and max 20 exhibitors.
I like it.
So in this first show, we wanted it to be just very curated, very intentional. So typically conferences, to your point, the only time that you get to actually talk with people is at the lunch tables, and that's purely by chance.
Right.
Just wherever you sit down, and it's a little uncomfortable. Well, you talk to them. Oh, where are you from? What do you do at your pharmacy? This way, I'll be able just to look at your ribbons and know what I need to know. But at the lunch table, or usually at the lobby bar, everybody loosens up a little bit and they'll end up talking to each other more. And that's great. Like those hallway conversations, the lobby bar conversations, we'll have those. And we're actually curating sessions of like-minded people who are interested in the same things with facilitators, professional facilitators who are being trained right now as we speak to go through this facilitation process for business and be able to like pull those conversations actually out and provide value.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Scotty, they did something similar to that. I just went to the digital CPA conference and it was much bigger, but at least they were trying to do something like that where you had the breakout sessions and each kind of table had like a huge, you know, banner there that had a subject matter. So people went to what they were interested in and what made sense for them so they could kind of all just feed off each other during that time. But I like it. It's going to be awesome to have a smaller group.
Yeah.
To really be able to sit there and that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I know it takes a lot of work getting that going.
Yeah, it does because it's a lot of chicken or the egg. But we've gotten a lot of great early momentum. We've had some wonderful sponsorships come through.
Great.
And exhibitors and everything. That's going to allow us to put this conference on, which is wonderful. Sykes was one of the very first supporters, which I appreciate more than you know.
Yeah, of course.
So I was like, we're putting on a conference, and you guys were like, we're there.
Yeah.
Line us up.
So I know you guys speak at almost all the conferences, and everybody, like your sessions are packed. So we will likely have you guys in a breakout session that's peer led and that's facilitated. Just because we didn't want to do like the one to many where it's like, all right, now everybody's going to, now everybody's going to, so this way it can actually be interactive. But I know there's a lot going on, right? We have a new administration coming in. It's a new year.
It's going to be a lot.
There's a lot of content from us this year.
Yeah. It's tax season.
Especially by then. There's no telling what will be going on.
Yeah.
Because I think there's going to be some changes hitting quickly after the 20th.
There'll be a lot of tax stuff this year. So buckle up.
Is there anything top of mind that we need to know or start preparing for?
Well, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act will be, most of it expires this year, so that will be on the table completely this year, with along other changes and updates to that law.
No telling what else.
Yeah,
it's going to be monumental, these changes this tax year. So we'll have all that content. Now, what that looks like for pharmacies, we'll have to see.
Right.
There's going to be quite a bit of changes for sure.
What about R&D? Do we have any updates on R&D yet, or you anticipate that'll come with the new?
That's one thing that could change. I'm sure it's going to change somehow.
And that will come with the updates for sure.
Yeah.
Because that has bipartisan support. The R&D expenses, where you have to capitalize R&D expenses, which nobody does. But
and the ones that do, that's a hard hit.
The ones that
do for the first few years. Whew.
Yeah, I heard you talking about that on another podcast a little bit, Bonnie, because I opened a pharmacy, like September of 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be interesting as we scale that fulfillment side.
Yep.
What happens, and I'll lean on you guys to let me know what I'm supposed to be doing.
We'll have it.
Yep. We'll dig into it and figure it out. All these changes, how it affects pharmacy specifically. So we're excited about it.
Yeah.
We hope it's a lot of positive changes.
I hope so. I've been working on just scaling our software side and scaling the software company, and that's a whole thing. The development team, the product manager, all that fun stuff. And it's such a different world. And everybody from the outside, in the development side and the business side that I'm working with, because we have pharmacy software, they're all like, what's going on with pharmacy? What's happening with all these middlemen? And the government's putting a lot of pressure on them now. And so it's like, point is, it seems like people outside of our industry now are really starting to notice how messed up it is.
I'm running into it in the community, and people are aware of the PBMs now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So especially with this administration change coming in, I know we've been, hoping and praying for a long time and feeling discouraged, really. I mean, I have at times really discouraged and seeing the reimbursements last year, and just, so maybe there is some light at the end of the tunnel coming now, at least in exposure of them. And they're talking about breaking apart CVS and their PBM, the pharmacy side and the PBM side.
Yep.
I remember when the CVS Caremark merger went through when I was in pharmacy school, when I was in grad school, probably around 2008 or something. And I remember everybody saying, and my professor saying, the FTC is going to block it. They would never let this happen.
Yep.
They didn't block it.
Well, Trump's been on the record saying he's going to, he doesn't like the middleman. And I mean, when he says something, he usually means it, right? I mean, so we'll see.
But it's easy to get jaded, because these are the biggest companies in our country.
Right.
They got the most money.
Yeah.
And that's frustrating, because are we going to see change? I don't know.
I think it's definitely a good thing when the people not involved in our industry know what a PBM is now.
Yeah. And I'm seeing that so much more, as are you.
So, you have to think change is coming. The public is aware of the issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue.
Yeah. That's true. I used to post on my personal Facebook page back when I had my bigger pharmacy a few years back. I used to post on there about PBMs and about that. Nobody knew what I was talking about.
Right.
None of my friends, my parents didn't know what a PBM was. Like, nobody knew. Now people know.
Yep.
Yeah, my mom's too busy knowing about Sasquatch. She don't know what a PBM is. But now they know.
Yeah.
See? Look at that.
It's out there.
I was just explaining it to my husband not long ago. He seemed a little bored by it, but he
from that regard, you know, with how the new administration handles that, how they handle the tax.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be a monumental year for pharmacy in a good way. Let's hope, let's hope. It's been many years of pharmacy taking a beating with these DR fees and getting screwed.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing though, pharmacies, there is something to manifestation. So you could focus on what's wrong, and there's a lot wrong. And there always will be a lot wrong. Or you could focus on what's right. We had a great opportunity revenue-wise during COVID. Mm-hmm. We had a great opportunity revenue-wise during this GLP craze, and it's not over yet, and it's not too late to get started. So there's gonna be something next. You just got to keep your eye on the horizon for what's happening next.
I mean, Scotty and I weren't even pharmacists, and we were almost about to jump on the COVID testing bandwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to take advantage of what's there, what works. I mean, just
we
filling
had an
scripts
opportunity in our community
because nobody was doing it. It was crazy.
And we were like, man, wow, let's do this.
I know. So there's always going to be opportunity. And I think as pharmacists too, and pharmacy owners, I'm seeing a lot more move to online, move to, like, I've been researching telemed and vetting telemed, right? I vetted a lot of telemedicine companies that just couldn't fit their business model into the brick and mortar independent pharmacy model because they're all online. All the Romans and Hims and Hers and Try Eden and IVIM and all these things. They're taking market share away from independent pharmacies, Amazon pharmacy. I mean, that behavior
Amazon
is moving
is
online.
ramping up too. They're really ramping up with some brick and mortar locations I've seen.
Yep. Yeah. So our pharmacies have a great opportunity to utilize the data that's in your database already with your patients, with your prescribers, and to let them know, because like these online pharmacies, they're not even pharmacies, online communities, telemedicine platforms, they're already creating the buzz and making your patients curious.
Right.
So if you reach out to your patients, say, hey, we offer that too, and you can come talk to me, and you can come pick it up, and I'll talk to your doctor, and I'll make sure that you're getting the best quality. And when you have side effects, you call me or you come to me, or I have solutions for your side effects. You don't have to go Google it or ask WebMD. Like, that's what we're here for. You can keep that business. And a lot of the technology players are catching up with, online checkout experiences and all those things to keep patients in the community. We don't have to lose them to online retailers.
Absolutely. And going back to that PBM thing, I keep CNBC on in my office here, and just about every day they talk about PBMs now.
Really?
Yeah. There's always a segment, CVS and PBMs or something.
Yeah.
6-12 months ago, that was not the case. But just about every day now, there's a PBM blurb.
Yeah, well, you know what, too? I should have mentioned this when we were talking about Africa and all that. We also had a 2-day stop in Manhattan to show the kids New York because they had never been.
Nice.
Since we had to fly out of JFK anyway.
And y'all checked a lot of boxes on that
one. We did. It was such a trip. We went from Tampa to JFK, spent a couple days in Manhattan, did a tour, did all this, Times Square and all that stuff. Then we went to Cairo and Kenya. Now, the day or two after we were in Manhattan, the CEO of United Healthcare got shot and killed.
Oh, that was when oh man.
And we were right there. We were like the next block over, like the day before. And we couldn't believe it. And that's wild.
That is wild.
It's insane.
And that brought to light the
Yes.
issues in the industry altogether. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
as terrible as that is, and
Right. I know people get
pathetic as
heated.
that is from what happened there, but
Yeah, as heated as that is, because I know it's riled everybody up, and I think that was
Yeah.
the purpose. But that's going on. Other industries are noticing for sure. The public is noticing. There's a patient website on the pen. Have you heard about it? It's like there's so much patient online communities. Even the Weight Watchers community forum is real active. Reddit is popping with all this about patients who are advocating for their GLPs and for their life-changing medications. Now, that business, that compounded GLP business, is self-pay. So it's outside of the PBM model. And the PBMs, if you're trying to get the brand names, patients are experiencing the friction and they're starting to ask questions. And these are smart patients. They're like, this is wrong. Some things I'm paying $1,200 a month for my insurance. Like, why can't I get my therapy that my doctor's prescribing me? And more than patients have ever experienced this. So that on the pen website or a website, podcast, all that, they post quite a bit about the shortage or about patients like having trouble accessing their medications. So I truly think if February 18th comes and these 503As have to stop dispensing Tirzepatide, places like the Weight Watcher community, the online Reddit communities, the on the pen communities, they're going to go nuts.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I always say,
it's only growing. I don't know how the shortage is not there anymore, because
I know
it's the whole space is growing exponentially.
It's really something to watch though, because I subscribe to any legal case, and I got an update today that actually, and this has been happening for a few days, but it's been happening for about 5 days now. But I got another legal update today that was filed with that OFA versus the FDA lawsuit on the shortage, that Lilly entered the lawsuit. So now Lilly is able to defend with the FDA against the OFA because they have a protected interest. And so all the courts have allowed Lilly to enter. So it's heating up. So I read a lot of that stuff. I read all the legal documents. I won't say that I understand all of them, but I read them all. And then on the pharma manufacturing side, I'm subscribed to a ton of those, just newsletters and articles, and I read all those. They've been buying up huge facilities globally to try to end the shortage. They've been investing.
Well, I know they're building a big facility here in Raleigh area, I think, Bonnie.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that it's incredible the amount of patients who are on these medications, and it's only growing. So what a time to be alive.
I had clients back in September. Well, I was talking to pharmacies back in September or August saying, well, we're not in it yet. We're not doing it yet, but it's going to run out, soon. And here we are. I mean, it's still going, it's never too late to get in.
I had a naysayer for like the last 6 months, and then I talked to her on Friday, and she's like, I'm calling Nicolette. She's like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm giving in. I'm doing it. I was like, yes.
That's the thing. There's even still a couple state boards holding out.
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Louisiana's given a little trouble too. Alabama, actually, one of our GPO partners on the 503B side just got licensed in Alabama, and they're shipping in there now.
What's their issue? Like, I mean, I'm just curious to truly understand. Do they just not trust it? The safety of it?
It's new. So they're hinging on the fact that 503Bs have always historically sold into hospitals and clinics.
Right.
They've filled shortage drugs for hospitals. I don't know, normal saline shortages, whatever, lidocaine shortages, injectable shortages for hospitals. The FDA put out a guidance, and it's called Prohibition on Wholesaling, which makes no sense to kind of what we're talking about. But they put it out in like June of 2023. And in that, in like line 280 or something, or 380, whatever it is, it explicitly states that, so the whole point of that document is to say 503Bs cannot wholesale. So they can't sell it like to me at Atrium and then I'm selling it to pharmacies, or they can't sell it to clinics to go sell to a bunch of other clinics, or what they can't. 503Bs can't wholesale. 503Bs have to sell to the dispensing entity. And that's it. That's what the document was for. So 503Bs have to sell to the hospital. 503Bs have to sell to the clinic. 503Bs have to sell to the pharmacy. And then the pharmacy is going to dispense it pursuant to a prescription. That part was like an aha, because everybody said, wait a minute, 503Bs can sell to a pharmacy and pharmacies can dispense pursuant to a prescription? But it's in black and white that they can do that. That's not what this whole document was about. This whole document was about prohibition on wholesaling. And it was defining what is wholesaling. But for a 503B to sell to a pharmacy, a 503A, and then for that 503A to dispense a prescription, pursuant to a valid prescription for that item, that is not wholesaling. So that is not prohibited.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, it's kind of like a buried backwards way to say it, but it was very clear 503Bs manufacture products that are in shortage and other things, but mainly they manufacture products that are in shortage, and they can sell to these entities. They just can't wholesale them, because the pharmaceutical industry has a very specific structure for manufacturing, and then manufacturers wholesale to distributors or to the McKessons, the Cardinals, the Sencoras, and then the buying groups and all that gets involved. That's a very specific channel, but that's not what 503Bs do. Their place in the supply chain is to fill in when needed on shortage products or in very specific circumstances. So they're not in that whole channel of wholesale, but they can sell directly to the dispensing facility of hospitals, clinics, and pharmacies. But that part made a light bulb go off in all of our industry's minds, like, wait a minute, we can access that channel as well. We don't just have to play over here buying from the big three.
So these states are saying it's a wholesale activity and it's not allowed?
I think the states are confused, to be honest, and I think a lot of the state boards are antiquated. But the states are saying, well, that's a draft guidance document, so we're not going to accept that. It's like, this document is not what gave the green light. This document clarified. So if you go back, there's nothing saying.
Most federal regulations are draft for God knows how long, and you have to work off the drafts until you get the final.
It's the guidance for the industry.
It is in tax world anyway.
Yeah,
we would get nothing done if we waited for everything to be
finalized. Yeah,
you can't find anything in writing that says that you can't do that. There's nothing in writing that says 503As cannot purchase from 503Bs, cannot. So just because this document is a draft guidance, it's a guidance on the prohibition of wholesaling. So you might be able to argue that that's not final yet, but that's not even what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
But exactly to your point, when I first went to my friend Haley, who owns PQ Pharma, I've known him for over a decade. I almost bought his pharmacy years ago. He lives here in Palm Harbor where I do. And brilliant guy. And I first went to him, I think it was like last April. And that was my first experience with 503Bs. Haley was a great sterile compounder, sold his pharmacy for a lot of money. And I mean that he was very successful. He sold it to a big nationwide group, like wonderful. That pharmacy is still in existence in Palm Harbor. Now Haley opened PQ Pharma in Brooksville, Florida, about an hour north of us. So I went and visited his facility, looked at all his paperwork, talked to his microbiologist, got like a real education. And he said the same thing. So I was like, well, Haley, this says guidance. And he said, that's what the pharma industry operates on, is guidance. That's what you get.
And that's what it's for, right?
Right. Yeah. It'll take 7 years or something to like formalize that document, but you can't wait.
And you got to weigh the pros and cons of that guidance and make a decision, but you got to make a decision one way or another.
Now, the NABP, the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy, recently got a new president, Jeff Maceros. And I went to school with his wife, Maria, and we sat next to each other at UF for like 4 years. So I'm really trying to stick it to Jeff, like, hey, I need you to talk to us. I need you to, because so many state boards under your National Association of Boards of Pharmacy are not on the same page. So we really need some leadership to bring the state boards together.
I'm going to say this is it's a leadership thing, you know, with not making the call on whether to do this or not in these states. You know, it's leadership, I think, has.
And if you think about it, if there's 56,000 retail type pharmacies in our country, ones that actually like serve patients, you could say there's 80 something thousand if you include all the specialty mail order type things that are closed. But let's say 56,000. If 18 to 20,000 of them are independents, that's a huge percentage.
Oh yeah.
So we need representation with NABP. We need all the state boards to be on the same page, because just like 503Bs are a carve out to help in special situations, so are independents. No one's more accessible. No one's more adaptable. You have so many rural areas where all they have is independent pharmacies. So I'm really trying to advocate for NABP and for these state boards that are just out of alignment with the rest to just work together just to streamline patient care.
Yeah.
Sounds like a worthwhile endeavor.
Yeah. Hope so. So I'm really trying to get Jeff's attention. But we'll see.
Well, it's going to be exciting year. And got the conference, AtriumX, we got tax changes, maybe some pharmacy PBM changes this year. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Nobody knows.
Nobody
What
knows.
curveballs are we going to get? There'll be a few of those, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Always.
But always
it's
have
interesting though.
Yeah. You know? Always glad to have you on, Nicolette, and your perspectives and insights for our listeners here.
And if anybody's not in this space yet, call Nicolette. She can help you get it.
Yeah, we
get it going.
We have the whole solution. We've put a couple hundred pharmacies through it, and I
hear good things about it.
Yeah. It's been a great opportunity for pharmacies just to keep their patients instead of losing them online.
Yep,
because they're going to get it anyway.
That's right. They're going to get it.
So it's
not from you.
And I haven't heard of one provider, I'm sure you may have, that is like against it or has an issue. Like we keep hearing from our clients that providers are on board. They're like, it's a great option.
You know, it's usually political. It's usually the providers that are part of a big like hospital group.
Right.
And it's not on the P&T committee, or they're not allowed to write for compounds or whatever it is. And that's why this telemedicine solution that we found is going to be so impactful, because if you have a patient coming to you like, hey, I saw that you offer these medications, I saw it on your social media, my friend gets it, whatever, but my doctor won't write it. Do you have somebody I could see? Yes. You know, you can put the telemedicine on your website. You can have a bag stuffer with the QR code to lead them right to it. And it's pretty seamless. They're licensed. They have licensed providers in every state, except maybe Alaska, I think, but they're working on licensure there. But they have them in every state. They comply with the laws in each state as far as synchronous or asynchronous visits. The patients have to upload a full body photo. They have to have a video call if that's required in your state. They have to fill out a whole checklist, medical history. They have to upload lab work. It's legit. It's a legit visit and appointment. And then if appropriate, the prescribers, they have your pharmacy's protocols loaded because it's your link and your URL. So if you compound certain things, those formularies are uploaded for that telemed provider. So that makes it really cool too. So you're not going to be getting prescriptions.
So they're just checking a box pretty much.
Who is?
Like the provider, they know the patient, they know which pharmacy.
Yeah.
And they're just going in and checking these boxes.
Yeah, they're doing the medical visit and they're making sure that they're complying with that state's requirements for a telemedicine visit. And then if it's appropriate, they're prescribing that prescription for that patient. But since it came through your pharmacy's link, it's going to your pharmacy
directly.
And let's say if it's a GLP, they know which GLPs you have because on the back end, you've put in your formularies.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been working on it for some time. So I'm excited to launch it at AtriumX.
I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah, buddy.
That's exciting.
It's another podcast.
Yeah.
Well, it's another thing, man. It's like, get with it, get going, get on these things, get changing, evolve, adapt.
Right. Yeah, don't lose your
patience. Put yourself out there, grow the pharmacies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grow that expertise. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, Nicolette, we
Thank
could probably go
you.
on another hour, but we appreciate you, everything you do in the industry and joining us on our podcast today. Maybe we can make this a recurring quarterly update. I don't know. This is pretty good. So
only if we have margaritas.
Margaritas. Yeah. Be cool. Maybe if we can do, maybe Austin and I will do a live update from AtriumX. We'll see. But
yeah.
Thanks again, Nicolette, and thanks for all
Thank
our listeners
you.
out there.
Yes.